you're capable of. It's about what you're willing to do.
Young Aaron Nagler have wanted a Raven to ride his bike.
100%, absolutely. But I will say, props to Arm because he owns it, right? He's a diehard, and he is like completely in his feelings for why he doesn't want a Raven touching his bike.
Now, please welcome from Cheesehead TV, Aaron Nagler and Bill Schmid.
Carry the G Radio coming at you on a Tuesday afternoon, an hour earlier than usual, a truncated version. Aaron Nagler coming to you live from New York City. Bill Schmid live from the iHeart Metroplex. And I will say, a very nice looking new studio you got there, Billy.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you. I get to be in the talk version of the studio. So our friend Dave
Gasper
joins the program as well.
Behind the glass.
Behind the glass.
Away from some of Billy's
problematic behavior. Yeah, I get it.
Problematic
Is that going to be that's going to be the name of your autobiography, Behind the Glass? That sounds good.
I thought mine might be problematic behavior, which
it's
could
much
definitely
safer
work.
over here.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be a little safer for you over there. That's for sure. But listen, we've had to have some, separation from all folks, especially our friend Dave Sinekin who's been filling in for Zabin Butch last couple of days.
Oh no,
in Minnesota, working out of the KFAN studios. He has done Packers preview there for 30 years on the Vikings flagship, and now he's got to live, sadly, Nags, in a world. And I know this is bad, just to rip the Band-Aid right off.
Let's do it.
He's got to live in a world for the first time since 2017 where the Vikings have swept the Green Bay Packers. That's a difficult lot in life for our guy, Dave.
He does great work. I followed him online for a good long while now, and he is now going to have to gird his loins, as it were. Man, it's going to be a tough world to live in. However, there's a possibility, there's a glimmer of hope that perhaps, just perhaps, Packers see them again in the playoffs and get to right that ship.
It's actually
a possibility.
It's a possibility in eggs. It's a little bit of it's a direct path. Now, I don't know. I'm probably out on the island here.
Okay.
And I think
you often are, Billy. You often
might be. I often am.
Yeah.
I'm really not that scared about going to Philadelphia. As bad as it sounds, and I know that a lot of people are feeling this much differently after the week that we just watched.
Sure.
I don't want to face the LA Rams. I don't want to face Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and company in that young pass rush with the LA Rams. I actually think, and Nags, this is a crazy feeling as a Green Bay Packers fan.
What's this?
I think you can slow down the run game better than you can stop the pass. And for me, that feels even better. Going in against the 2-7, get them fighting on the sidelines into the second half, and you go in and win the football game. So as dire straits as many people have wanted to put the Packers in over the last couple of days, because, oh my God, now they're the 7th seed. Now they might be the 7th seed. I've already found some patented positivity to feel like this is already a win.
Look, I went on about this a little at length yesterday on Cheesehead TV. I understand that viewpoint. I don't know if I necessarily share it. But I do understand that it is a game of matchups, right? It is about how you match up with the other team. And to your point, the Packers have a much better run defense at this point than they do a passing defense, especially against the better passing attacks in the NFL. But all of that said, that is also dependent on the Packers holding up their end of the bargain on offense.
Correct.
And
yes.
Against the best teams in the league, that has certainly been problematic and difficult, especially coming out of the gate in these games. I loved Matt LaFleur taking the ball. I loved him receiving to start that game in Minnesota, trying to follow the same script that they kind of laid out in Seattle, right? Hostile environment.
Yep.
Get that ball, march down the field, score a touchdown, try to take them somewhat out of the game, they being the crowd. And they were on task there. They were on their way to doing it until one of their best players put the ball on the carpet. And then the whole thing swings there. And look, there are a million different ways they could have won that game, a million different problems pop up throughout the game. But man, you're talking about, they lost, obviously by 2 and the getting screwed by the refs there at the end of the half and all these other, coulda, woulda, shouldas. Man, your best players got to play their best to beat the best. And it seems like this is a recurring theme in these big games against the best teams. Their best players are not playing their best.
And the strange feeling is, Nags, as we've tried to draw the comparisons to last year's team and this year's team, last year's season to this year's season. the difference at this point in the year was last year the Packers played so much better against the better teams in the NFL.
Yep.
And they had struggled.
They beat the Chiefs in front of the whole country. It's
right after
they were up for it. Yes.
Right after they were up 3 scores in Detroit on Thanksgiving, which is one of the biggest audiences that the league had seen that year. So but then they struggled being able to come out and have their juice against the New York Giants. So where this year they've dominated teams that they should, they have not been able to hold up their end of the bargain in those games.
I have a theory, Billy.
Oh, let's go. Here we go.
I have a theory.
Come on now.
Now, look, this isn't quantifiable. This is very much guy just sitting at home watching the game type theory. I'm not looking at analytics. I ain't talking about, any hard evidence here. But much like Matt LaFleur, I'm going with my gut. LaFleur keeps getting asked about going for it or decide his decision making, and he's throwing the challenge flag. I go by my gut. Well, Coach, I too go by my gut, and my gut tells me LaFleur needs to loosen up a little bit. A little too tightly wound. You're seeing it kind of manifest itself on the sideline with, obviously bad calls happen, and I don't have a problem with the coach getting in the ref's face from time to time. But the way he continually does it, compounding with, every failed third or fourth down, man, he just needs to loosen up. I think you're seeing his kind of tightness being reflected in the play on the field from his team. And to your point, last year, it felt like house money. You're going against the Chiefs. You're going against the Lions in their place. And you thought, we got nothing to lose. Let's go. Let's let it all hang out, right? Now the expectation is, well, you did so much last year. You should be better. And they have been. They are a better team than they were last year. I don't think there's any question there. But then you get into these big moments, and the floor is just so tight. You see it. I think there's a direct correlation between Jaden Reed dropping that pass on 4th down and how kind of just tight and tense things are on the sideline, in the meeting rooms, all throughout 1265 Lombardi. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the answer is for LaFleur in this situation, other than, man, loosen up a little bit, let him play.
Team takes
on your personality 100%.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Aaron. And it's a struggling part of the dynamic where, like, I was scrapping, and generally I don't do this online on Sunday night.
You're in the mix. You're getting after it.
I was in the mix, dude. I was in the mix. And frankly, because the first call that I got on Packers OT was, I'm not sold on this Matt LaFleur guy.
See, that's.
So I took the bait. I took the bait right out of the gates. Okay. Yeah. So I took the bait right away, and I had to ask people what outcoached means, and then immediately the first response is whatever Matt does. Okay, so that's different. And you show your hand right out of the gates.
Yep.
I struggle to take that part of it seriously, but what you just mentioned is one of the things that I love about LaFleur's coaching style, and one that can be very, very frustrating about it all at the same time.
Right.
He feels the emotion of the game.
100%.
Unlike a lot of coaches, right? I think Dan Campbell does as well, right? And we laud him for it because it's even more aggressive style of it, where Matt is a player's coach. He's going to push the guys, and he's going to prepare them for it, but he didn't play in the NFL. There feels like a reverence for the guys that do play in the NFL, and he gets really swept up in the emotion. That's why I think he struggles with challenges. Guys come over to the sideline and say, Coach, I have that one. I got it.
Yeah.
But
I
to
think
this
there's
point,
something to that,
where you can set the tempo and the temperament of the team in those spots, the looseness of their play at the tail end of last year has got to come back as it did to this year's team, because they do at this point, Nags, they got nothing to lose. Again, you're the 7 seed. Again, you're coming going into other teams' houses. You got to play freer. And he mentioned it. I think he said it in the halftime. We're playing a little tight.
Yep.
And I'm with you. It felt like he got a little bit tight after the ball went on the ground and they started counting possessions and started freaking out about how many more times they were going to get the football.
Very much so. And look, I don't want anyone to be under any illusions. This is not a condemnation of LaFleur. I just think it's something that could help him and the team. I think he's an amazing football coach. I think he's incredible. And I think there are a ton of teams in the NFL who would kill to have him on the sideline. But that said, like, sometimes you can get a little blinders on, get a little lost in yourself and with your team and not really kind of see how it's affecting your squad. I just think this is a great opportunity on Sunday with the Bears coming in, and this is the Bears Super Bowl. They still have a very talented defense.
Yes.
I don't doubt for a moment that the Packers will win this game, but it doesn't need to be anything more than, okay, let's go out there and let's play ball. Let's have a good time doing it. I just think, you're talking about the 7th seed. Mike McCarthy could still do the Packers a solid.
Could.
Shock the world.
Well could. Yes.
Beat the Commanders. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could, and they could end up the 6th seed. I mean, that's a possibility, but I just think, yes, going into this week in particular, it affords you a really good opportunity. Let your hair down a little bit. Play some ball. Go beat the Bears. It's it sounds simple and it sounds kind of simplistic, but I do think it will help going into the playoffs.
It goes a long way. And whether or not, Nags, it gives the confidence to the fan base or to the rest of the league or to the locker room, I don't think the locker room's lacking any confidence. My man Josh Jacobs dropped a pause in the midst of his post game.
That was
when he said left a bad feeling in our mouth. Pause. I mean, you're not making those jokes after that game if you are really, really stressing about your lot in life. And I understand we want to make grand assumptions after a loss.
Oh, yes.
You can still very much beat that football team, but it still has to be the same game plan that it was going into the game. And again, Nags, you succeed in part of the game plan. They ran for 4 a touch. They are going to have to play from ahead. I think that's pretty clear right now.
Yeah.
The rest of the teams in the NFC also want to play from ahead. You get up on one of these ball clubs, and I feel rather confident with it. I also think this is a part of it, and you can't be afraid to do what works for you. They are better playing up tempo.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that specific phrase up, because I do wonder if part of, I don't know, fixing it is the right word, but part of maybe jump starting things earlier in these games is to give Love some 2-minute action right out of the gate, or at least one of the initial drives. And I know openers are important. You want to set things up to get information. I understand all that, but maybe your second drive, third drive, whatever, sometime in the first quarter,
soon, early,
get Jordan in a rhythm. Let him call a few plays, get the 2-minute kind of drill going early in a game, because it does seem like he comes alive in those situations. And I understand things really changed late in the game in Minnesota because the Vikings had multiple score lead and they were playing very differently on defense. But I think that's been true most of this season. When he gets in that kind of hurry up mode and he's making things happen in the line of scrimmage. And again, I don't think this is something you do exclusively. I don't think it's something this is the new way of operating or anything like that. But I do think it would help jumpstart Jordan earlier in some of these games, because once he gets in a rhythm, he's still very lethal. But man, it's clear he's against the best defenses. He's having issues getting that rhythm early in these games.
Why do we treat quarterbacks differently than we do star wide receivers? Like when you have a top wide receiver, it's let's get him the ball early. Let's get him a touch early. Right. Or like a big man in basketball. Let's get him a touch in the paint early. Let's get you feeling good in the neighborhood. Get you 2 easy completions early. Now I get you also want to give that to Josh Jacobs and get him feeling good early, and you want to set the physical tempo. But I'm with you. And it all starts with getting the first down. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record on this.
It's true, though.
And they struggled doing that at a lot of points. I mean, they had 8 first downs in the first 3 quarters. They had like 8 first downs in the first 3 quarters. You're not going to win any football games doing that, let alone against a team that has 13 wins and is at home. But you can see once they can get the first down and then get up onto the football. Darnold and company had a lot of success doing it. They went up to the line with 2 plays, Nags. There was a can call by about 15, 18 seconds on the play clock, and then they were still taking it down. They were still controlling the clock, still controlling the tempo, but making you line up early, making you feel for 30 seconds that the snap can come.
Could come at any moment.
That's a big part of it. And I think you got to try to push the envelope like that, because you got to make other teams uncomfortable. And that can be a little bit of a way that you feel like you're playing from ahead, even if the scoreboard's not indicating it.
And flipping it around and looking at the defense, it's fascinating to watch some of the reactions off of that game, which I get emotionally, especially right after the game. People talking about, it's Joe Barry 2.0, so much kind of soft zone, keeping things in front of them. I said this during the game. After the game, I'm saying it now a couple days later. I think Athlete did a great job playing the hand he was dealt. Mm-hmm. I mean, to be down as many starters as he was heading into the game, and then losing one of your starting safeties and having to juggle personnel against that offense with that kind of murderer's row of offensive weapons coming at you. Like, people get so upset because the middle of the field is open and they keep, gobbling up yards. And it's like, well, yeah, you're protecting from Justin Jefferson going ham at any moment, Addison going ham at any second. Like, and then you got Hawkinson working the middle. It's just, I get the frustration, but you play man in that situation with this team, with these guys, and let's say, well, you want to blitz a lot. Well, okay, you do that and they'll score 40.
Yeah.
Rather than the 27 they did.
Nags, how many times do we have to watch Eric Stokes go up against Justin Jefferson and get torched for us not to learn this lesson? Like, I mean, you just can't do that to that poor kid.
I'm glad you brought him up.
Disrespect. It's unfair to him to put him in that situation.
It is 100%. But I will say, I think they finally found the right kind of spot for Stokes rotationally in this game. I thought he was out there when they went some nickel situations, a lot of dime stuff, and he was only out, 10, 11 snaps, whatever. Yes. That's exactly how he should be utilized. Like, do not have him as part of a starting rotation. He should be a sub player. They finally found the sweet spot for Stokes.
Yeah, and it's a pretty clear indicator that they're going to play either 4 or 3 when he's in the game, because he's going to run backwards and cover like a sideline part
Quadrant,
of it.
Right.
But you know what? That's fine. You got to have
totally fine.
You got to have guys like that, and there's a part of you don't always have to disguise everything to try to trick somebody else. There is something to lining up and playing, and the Packers are going to have to do that at different points in the game, and they did that with Xavier McKinney. I thought they indicated a bunch of different times early pre-snap nags. Hey, 29, you're going to be looking at him. He's going to be looking at him. Now, I did not anticipate at any point in the 2024 season Zane Anderson was going to be like a make or break
pivotal point
on the football field.
Exactly.
But when he went down, dude, like, you could just tell there was another thought in Jeff Hafley's mind, like, oh, blank.
Here we go again.
Got to do this again. So we're going to have to cover ourselves on that side. And credit to the Vikings offensive line. This one is one I don't like saying, and I don't understand why. I have counted upon it, Nags. It's like a clock hitting the same time twice a day.
Right.
Kenny Clark is supposed to eat Garrett Bradbury's lunch twice a year.
Yeah.
And twice this year, Bradbury got the better of him. And that was a massive part of the game, was no pressure in the face of Darnold, because they collapsed the pocket enough from him on the outside. Thought the edge rushers actually did a decent job getting him off the spot, but there was no up the middle pressure. And with Wyatt being out and Clark not being able to serve up Bradbury like that, that was a massive miss.
I'm glad you mentioned Wyatt, because that's kind of the Zane Anderson thing has been talked about a lot, that I've seen it kind of written about and et cetera, and the coach asked about it, whatever. Man, Wyatt was cooking out of the gate in that game. He was playing extremely well, really disruptive for, I think, 11 snaps. And then he has the head injury and he's gone, and things totally changed up front. It's the combination of losing Anderson and Wyatt going out, because you saw when they had that fumble initially, held the Vikings to no points.
Yep.
Next drive, kept the Vikings down. Like, they played well initially. Then they lost 2 more pieces on top of the guys they came into the game without. And Hafley was really kind of, certainly didn't have the horses to run those courses. Let's just put it that way. I don't doubt for a moment that he would have preferred a different approach, but at some point you got to play the hand that you've been dealt. And I thought, for the most part, now obviously nothing's perfect, like some of the calls back, etc., but for the most part, I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, I did too. And that's not where my gripe is. And I know that this is not the easiest thing to battle with online. It's not the easiest thing to criticize. No. Nags, I think they got beat on the field. And like, that's a difficult part. We'd like to be able to point to more this decision, that decision, this decision, that decision. Yeah, beat and a team played a little bit better and executed really, really well, and they're buzzing right now. However, I do still think that team can be beat. I think this Lions team can definitely be beat, and it's one of the reasons why I'm kind of cheering for the Lions coming up this week, because I'd prefer, and I asked Matt Steinman about it earlier, I wanted to get your vantage point on it. I'd rather go to Detroit, I think, in that second round than I would US Bank Stadium.
1,000%, simply because of where their defenses are. I mean, I don't doubt for a moment that the Packers would come out of the gate much stronger a second time around in US Bank, but that is a really problematic defense for the Packers. The way they played, especially the way they played man coverage. I will say some of it will be dependent on who the crew is, because it's very clear. If you go back and watch the tape from Sunday's game, the Vikings defenders, the secondary people, they knew, like, after about a drive and a half, we can manhandle these guys.
We can do
not
this.
Going to get called. And they kept at it. They kept after it. And that's smart. That's exactly what you should do, right? I do think some of it would be crew dependent in that regard, but I still think that Vikings defense in that building is a major problem, matchup problem. I think in Detroit, you saw it last night against the 49ers, man, that defense, and this has been kind of trending this way for the last 4 weeks or so. I know they're totally banged up. Totally understand that. But, man, they are just not playing well on that side of the ball at all.
Yeah.
They're getting turnovers, no doubt about it, and that helps. It sets up their really potent offense. But, yeah, that's a game where I think, the Packers could move the ball and score points.
Yeah, throw the ball away from Kirby Joseph, and I feel really good about beating that defense.
That's a good plan. That's not.
I'm gonna be okay as long as you don't throw it towards Kirby, because Pink Man is eating it up.
Dude, that second interception last night from Purdy, it legit looked like old school Madden vision cone. Like he was like dialed in on his one dude he was going to throw it to over the parasol, I think, over the middle. Yeah. And Kirby Jones, they played inverted too, and he was just like, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So good.
Kurt Warner was dying on the radio broadcast as Jason Benetti's like, it's a carbon copy of the first one. He goes, yeah, but Purdy just told him basically exactly where he was going to throw it.
100%. No doubt about it.
Oh, man.
Love
Aaron, I'm fired up. The bad thing is about this truncated New Year's Eve day version is all of a sudden our middle of the second hour realization of how quickly this show flies by happens so much quicker. So we got to take quick time out, and we'll come back on the other side, chop it up a little bit more about this defense, because there was one guy that we did not talk about that I'm really, really excited to. And which return on the defensive side is going to be the biggest of Evan Williams, Quay Walker, and there's one name that I didn't say for maybe a reason. That's Aaron Nagler. I'm Billy Schmid. It's Carry the G Radio on Cheesehead TV's YouTube, on 97.3 The Game's YouTube, and on 97.3 The Game.
The man can't miss. Time now for Coons Can't Miss. Presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big. Bet bold.
The Tuesday edition of My Can't Miss, brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook, has us heading to Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl. Oh, yeah, and I did it a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to do it again, and that's fade James Franklin in a big-time game. Last time, he had SMU coming to Happy Valley, but this time, it's Boise State in a neutral site where they completed the greatest bowl upset ever. Now, may not be hook and ladders, but they don't have to win outright. With this line, they just might end up doing it anyways. Take Boise State plus 11 points in the Fiesta Bowl tonight as my
panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
The countdown to 2025 is in full swing.
iHeartRadio and ABC bring you Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Join me, Ryan Seacrest. It's America's biggest countdown party of the year.
Tonight, starting at 7. Watch on ABC.
At Boost Mobile, we spent 2024 building the newest 5G network in America with fast and reliable coverage. But all our efforts wouldn't matter without you. So thank you. And if you haven't switched yet, head to boostmobile.com and let's start 2025 right.
People can't stop screaming about Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza. And no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's frozen aisle and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian Holy Pepperoni Frozen Pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian. Taste what all the screaming is about.
Old Spice Swagger Body Wash will make you the MVP of freshness and confidence. With its irresistible scent, it will transform your shower experience, leaving you feeling fresh on and off the field. Pair it with Old Spice Swagger Deodorant, the #1 aluminum-free brand that keeps you feeling like a Super Bowl champion 24/7 when used daily. But don't wait. This dynamic duo is available at Costco for a limited time only. Old Spice, official deodorant partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59, where freshness meets football greatness.
John Kuhn here to tell you, when it comes to football, every quarterback relies on their offensive line. Do you have someone you can depend on when times get tough? It's good to reach out to family and friends, but there's no shame in needing more. So let's sack the stigma together, because just like great teamwork can lead to incredible moments on the field, the experts at Rogers can help you live for the moments that matter. If you or someone you love is struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, reach out to Rogers Behavioral Health online at rogersbh.org.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. If you drive drunk, you will be pulled over and you will be arrested. You cannot talk your way out of a DUI, but you can keep your mouth shut for your best defense. Call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
Drew and KB here with our buddies, Rob and Chris from HappyPlaceHemp.com. Gentlemen, congratulations on your new product, the Drift Seltzer. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're super excited about that. We've had it for a couple of weeks and it's been in development for probably 3 months.
All the seltzers on the market that I tried were super packed full of sugar, and I wanted to make something that was sugar-free, alcohol-free, but that still makes you feel good. It's like a nice alcohol alternative and no calories.
0 calories. I am a big fan of that. Where can you find it? Is it at any retail locations? Do we come to your store?
Yeah, right now we've got it at the store in Muskego, and it's also at Ray's Liquor. We're going to be expanding that probably throughout the city and the state very soon.
You can buy it online too, happyplacehemp.com. We'll ship it right to your door. If you buy 3 or more 4-packs, we'll ship it for free.
With the code Drew and KB to get 25% off.
Yeah,
that's right. Awesome. Now get 25% off your entire order with the code Drew and KB in store and online at happyplacehemp.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy.
Just in time for the new year, the new and improved free iHeartRadio app is finally here. It's everything you love about radio in the palm of your hand. The live radio dial, presets, scan, even lyrics. And iHeartRadio has your favorite artists, playlists, and podcasts too. Anytime, anywhere. Count down to 2025 with the new and improved free iHeartRadio app. Get it today.
iHeartRadio.
97.3 The Game.
Here the G Radio rolls on New Year's Eve day. Bill Schmid, Aaron Nagler, we're coming at you live. Getting ready for a season-ending showdown with the Bears. And Billy, you mentioned a couple guys. They could potentially, maybe, possibly get back on defense this Sunday.
Yeah, there's a couple.
I got to tell you, I'm not holding out any hope on seeing Jair anytime soon. Let's just put that out there right away. So I'm going to put that like in its own box, and we'll open that if necessary. But
you on that.
Between Evan Williams and Quay Walker, the two dudes you mentioned prior to the break, give me Evan Williams. And I don't say that to disparage Quay, who I thought was playing much better after the bye week, but especially if Zane Anderson can't go, I need that safety pair. I need it. Like, I need air to breathe, and I need Bullard back down in the slot where he can use his physicality and stick his nose in there in the run game. I just think in space, that second safety spot, it's not the best use of his talents right now in his rookie season.
At no point did I believe Evan Williams was going to be the guy that I would say in this spot that you need to be able to see. But I'm right there with you, because especially if Anderson's not in there, the communication in the back end and what it does for Javon Bullard. And then the other part of it is, Nags, just not even the possibility to threat the conversation of moving Keyshawn Nixon inside, right? Like that's the other part of he's playing so well on the outside that I think that it alleviates that threat of having to move him around and put him somewhat out of his comfort zone. And it's really no disrespect to Quay. And I know people are going to make it a Quay take. It also is just because of how well Edgerrin Cooper's playing there as well.
Well, I mean, talk about a special kid. Holy cow.
It's
how
incredible.
Exciting is he?
And let's say it this way, Negs. That's one of the wild card parts of the team coming in the wild card is who becomes a star in the NFL in a playoff run. Edgerrin Cooper could very quickly become a star in the NFL with this run towards the playoffs, because he's going to have opportunities in the middle of their defense to make splash plays, massive plays. And I almost, let me know if you think I'm all wet on this thought, I almost think it's easier to let him be that splash playmaker if there's just an Isaiah McDuffie or an Eric Wilson right next to him, who you know is just going to do their job, who's just going to take care of the one spot, take care of that responsibility, and let him go be himself.
I mean, I think, there's something to that. I will say, though, I am desperate to see a stretch, especially now that they've got Cooper out there for the majority of the snaps, right? Because that was the thing all first half of the season. You could see the athleticism, the upside, etc., but they were playing him like 12, then to 20, maybe 25 snaps. But now we finally got him out there the majority of the time. I would love to see him and Quay together. I do think the defense at this point, with the both, if they could ever get both of them on the field at the same time, it could really be cooking. But to your point, I think you allow him to, get after it. And I know LaFleur mentioned he overran some stuff, still some assignment issues, and I think that's to be expected with a rookie. But my kind of counterpoint to that is like, yes, that's why you need to let him play. So he learns these things. So you can put it in front of him on, tape study the next day and say, look, you did this and you should have done that. I just think it's fascinating to watch a linebacker, an inside linebacker in the year of our Lord 2024 in the city of Green Bay, playing as well as he is and making so many splash plays and eliminating things. There are plenty of plays in that Minnesota game. There's one in particular where you can tell Aaron Jones thinks he's out the gate. He hits a backside cut and he thinks, oh, I'm off to the races. And Cooper just essentially kind of almost teleports from the middle part of the field, cuts the angle, and just has Jones on the ground for a 1-yard gain. And Jones is somewhat frustrated as he's getting up. And I'm like, that's the type of thing we have not seen inside on 3-4, 4-3, I don't care, in Green Bay in a very, very long time.
The strange combination of sure tackling of AJ Hawk, and now I'm not calling you, not saying people get mad about that. Right? People get mad when I say that name. But the athleticism on the inside of like Clay Matthews, right? In that little weird little stretch of time. That little love child could be Edgerrin Cooper.
And
because
unlike Clay, he wants to be there.
Right. Correct.
Clay was kicking and screaming into the inside. Like Cooper was born to play in that, that spot. And to your point, I'm really excited about not only his potential long term. I think he's at the start of what could be a very special career in Green Bay. But yes, the idea of national stage, regardless of who they're playing, I think there's an opportunity there for, to introduce himself to the nation, as it were, in a playoff game. I'm all about that. I can't wait.
The amount of, now I don't know if we're going to get more, Troy Aikman calling him Lawrence Taylor. Like, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think you got a chance for it to be a real arrival to the scene of like, wait, who is this cat that just continually is making play after play after play after play after play and doing it, and then kind of getting up, talking some smack too. Like, I mean, there's an edge, pardon the pun, that he brings to their unit, which is, a little bit different. And to have that kind of nasty is something that you really want to be able to have at this point in the season. You want to get some of these chats here on the YouTube stream.
I was
right
going
away?
to say, we got Pogs, who's a longtime Carry the G Club member, on the YouTube chat. How do you think the offensive line did, Billy? I always watch the line play, and I'm interested to hear your perspectives. Apologies if I missed you discussing this already. And, you didn't miss it. We talked about the offense, but we did not discuss the offensive line specifically. Billy, what did you think of the O-line play on Sunday?
I thought they traded off, and their communication was pretty good with the amount of guys in front, right? Like the amount of double mugs that they show, and like 7-8 guys in the line of scrimmage.
Who's coming? Who's dropping?
It's a difficult task to have. However, I thought they were moving. I thought they were getting good push. There was a couple of times where it felt like there was a gap opening, continue through on the power play off to the right side, but understandably so. Jacobs was trying to just bury his head down and grab whatever he could. He trusted just half a second more. I think it was opening up towards the sidelines a couple of times, but I think they're one of the better units and one of the best parts of the team, Nags. And I know that I'm a little biased on it, but they're the part of the unit that I don't question is going to play well.
Fret about. I agree. I totally agree. What's frustrating is when you see like Rasheed Walker getting beat around the edge on third down, and people are like, well, we got beat. Well, yeah, but you also have to consider everything you were just talking about as far as sorting out who's doing what and what are we sliding, what are we doing in that environment. In third and long, you're a tackle out there on the island, you're looking in, you got to go, let alone silent count, but you're trying to actually watch the football. And then you see the snap, and literally by the time he gets out of his stance, guy is already across the line of scrimmage, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what LaFleur talked about after the game. Way too many third and longs in that environment in Minnesota where it's so loud. That is hell on earth for an offensive tackle. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, guys got taken advantage of once or twice. Even Zach Tom gave up some pressures, That's an environment of two things: the defense that they run and how talented they are up front. And then, the environment helps them immensely in those passing situations. So I thought for the most part, I'm with you, man. I thought they played pretty damn well. And that's a team that has not been able to get got on the ground. They've been holding teams to like less than 4 yards per carry. Jacobs ended up the day with over 4 yards per carry. They just had to get away from him because of the score.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything that they were doing was the reason why they stopped running the football. It was the score. It was the time in game. The other part of the line that I think is you put on and hit on perfectly. Grenard is one of the top paid guys on the outside because of his get off. That's what they kind of
good.
That's what they built that edge off of. And Dallas Turner, who ends up getting a sack in this game, that dude's going to be a problem in the near future because his get off is elite as well. And you take advantage and you play towards your strength, and their stadium is a strength. Let's be honest.
Right.
That noise in that environment is a strength. And when you can get teams into silent counts and you have to look in at the ball and then go out and kick,
looking in. Yeah,
100%.
It's tough, man. On that carpet. Yeah, that's a rough way to live.
Well, and I mean, when they're pumping in as much crowd noise as they still are.
Okay, all right. I will say this about game day operations in Minnesota, then they can go to hell for this. So, you saw the brouhaha online about Tucker Kraft injuring someone because he went low or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently, and I didn't see this on the broadcast, I'm doing watch party, but not only did they show it multiple times after dude got hurt, they replayed the play multiple times, and then they had the camera on Tucker on the Jumbotron so the fans could just boo him.
Just boo him?
Like, what are you doing? I mean, I get you're absolutely school in the summertime, no class over there in Minnesota, but that is so low. Like, dude, it's a legal play. Guy got hurt. Let's have some respect for your guy, your dude who's hurt on the ground. Like, that drives me nuts.
Yeah, I was in the building when they replayed with Paul Allen's call, Aaron Rodgers getting carted off the field while they were riding him off
highlight
the
of
field.
the modern Viking era, right?
Yeah, so
I was there
I
that day.
don't expect too much.
Yeah,
that's a loud barn, and it's one of the reasons why I prefer to go to Ford Field.
Third downs in that building because you've been there. Oh god, the press box is open air. Yeah. I'll never forget the very first game ever played in that building. I was there. Third downs, like my brain felt like it was bleeding. It was so loud.
One of the reasons why Ashley Washburn here in Milwaukee, TMJ4 covers Packers and did Packers preseason games on the network on the sideline.
She's phenomenal, by the way. She does great work.
Awesome. And she had one of my favorite tweets of all time because it includes one of my favorite human beings of all time, Mike Clemens, where she said, yeah, I understand why Mike Clemens brought headphones.
So true, dude.
My Lanta, I see why he brought earplugs.
It is the worst, dude. It absolutely. The only place I've ever been that was louder was the Superdome down in New Orleans. That's insane.
All right.
That place is nuts.
3 wins and we get to go back.
Let's go.
3 wins and we get to go
here's
back.
the dirty little secret. We're going no matter what. But can't wait. Cannot wait. But, that's a good point, though, because if the Packers get to the Super Bowl, I will stay and watch the game in the
And then
stadium.
we get to go to the game. Right.
Because
That's
if,
where it is.
If not, I'm just going to hang out.
Well, if it's not, then we're just going to go have fun on Bourbon Street. And I think that'll work out, too. We're going to have some more fun on the other side. Final moments of Carry the G, truncated New Year's Eve Day edition with Aaron Nagler, Billy Schmid on YouTube, on 97.3 The Game, and our score predictions. It's Bears week, baby. We got them coming up right after this.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hello, this is John Kuhn for Hildebrand Law Firm. When I played, it was all about trust. Trust my teammates, trust myself, trust the process. And now, trust for my family's well-being is with Hildebrand Law Firm. Your family's financial security is vital. Hildebrand Law believes estate planning is for everyone. So don't put it off. I didn't. Kirsten Hildebrand and her expert team will show you how to protect your assets for you and your family. Visit Hildebrand Law today, your local estate planner. Your family deserves it. To learn more, visit them at hildebrandlawfirm.net. That's hildebrandlawfirm.net. You can trust Hildebrand Law. I do.
Insurance sold by Smart Money Insurance Services Incorporated. Underwritten by various insurers. Coverage. Exclusions and limitations may apply.
Here's something no one wants to talk about, but we need to. Funeral and final expenses. Did you know the price of a funeral can be $8,000 or more? And that in the U.S., the average amount of credit card debt left behind when people pass on is nearly $5,000? Don't leave your loved ones with your debts. Download the Smart Bunny app right now and get up to $25,000 in final expense coverage starting at less than $1 a day. Yes, I said 25 grand in coverage for less than $1 a day. With Smart Bunny, it's fast and easy. There's no medical exam, and you can be approved even if you have pre-existing health conditions. Your rates can never be increased, your benefits can never be decreased, and your coverage can never be canceled. So don't wait. Download the Smart Bunny app and get up to $25,000 in coverage for your funeral and other final expenses. Go to the App Store and download the Smart Bunny app and get instant coverage. Download the Smart Bunny app now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy. And it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice, but now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Light rain and snow continue this afternoon with blustery and cooler conditions. A coating of snow will be possible overnight, so be cautious traveling. Drying out but staying mostly cloudy Wednesday with highs in the 20s and low 30s. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Sunday, Packers, Bears.
It is back! It is back! And the Packers have won! Beautiful!
Doug Russell in the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest pregame show is live at 8 a.m. on your home for Packers football. 97.3 The Game.
Times must we take this disgrace? Another Bears fan throwing insults in our face.
Can't talk over it, Billy.
The greatest team to ever play the game.
You just gotta let it go.
From time to time they
Great work, Dave Gasper.
It's Bears week, guys. It's Bears week.
Outstanding.
Carry the G radio.
Come on.
They got a reputation that's mostly based on luck. The Bears still suck.
Hey, everybody. I mean, that's just outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
Really suck. Yes, the Bears still suck.
All right, Carry the G
That's
radio
beautiful.
wrapping up here. The truncated version. That hour flew by, Billy.
It's crazy, man.
My goodness.
This radio thing, when we shorten it, makes it even more difficult to get everything that we want to talk about in 1 hour instead of just two.
Including Mike Witt on the YouTube channel
Yes.
here asking a couple questions. Happy New Year's, guys. Still disappointed in the way we played Sunday. However, I am still a believer in Matt LaFleur. Surprised people calling for Matt LaFleur's head? No, I'm not surprised. I can tell you that you may safely set those folks to ignore.
Yeah, Mike.
I
also-
understand being frustrated, but come on, let's have a little perspective.
Yeah, and earlier he had said Billy got a little heated the other night on OT when fans were calling for Matt's head. Yeah, I did. Nags, especially when it's the first freaking call out of the gates. All right, we got to set a precedent. And when my man calls from Iona or wherever the heck it was, he just drops like, what? I'm not really sold on him. Well, how many Super Bowls has he won? Well, all right.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay,
Kick him
there
to the
we go.
curb.
Yep, you're
There
right.
you go.
You're right. We might as well go and hire somebody new. We might as well go
Start
and
all
hire
over.
somebody who's
Yeah,
only coached high
definitely.
school football but won a bunch of state titles, because then they can at least win the big game.
That
Because-
championship bona fide. Yeah.
It just blows
Mike
my
also
mind.
asked, think we rest guys Sunday or play like normal? Now, that's a good question. I'm not entirely sure which way LaFleur is going to go here. I could see the starters playing the entire game. I could see them playing the first half. I could see them sitting the starters. I don't really have a good feel for how he's going to approach this one, Billy.
I think they're going to play football. Like, I mean, I get it. I understand. I know it's easier. I know it's safer. I think they're going to go try to play, and I think they're going to try to play to win because there's something to this team getting a little bit more mojo going back next.
There you go.
And get yourself feeling good. Like you've played well. No, don't get me wrong, but there has been a lapse in each game. I don't think they play the full 60, but somebody asked us.
Yes.
Somebody asked us on Packers OT, hey, or yesterday. So I got tickets to the game this weekend. But there might be some weather going on. Should I go? Are they going to play their guys? It's Packers Bears. You go to the football game and you get excited and you enjoy Jordan Love. Probably playing most of the game, I would assume. Yeah.
I would assume you're probably right. I think there's no doubt in my mind that a object in motion stays in motion.
Correct.
And you want to be playing a bit better than you were this past Sunday in Minnesota. You definitely want, that kind of inertia, momentum, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's a tangible thing, but I think it's a real thing.
Yeah, I think you want that thing. I think you want that getting going again. And final one here, Keith. Thank you for the super chat. What disappointed me the most on Sunday, Nags, was the fact that our coaching staff was outcoached by Minnesota despite us already playing them. Feels like Kevin O'Connell and Flores always one step ahead. They're good coaches. They're really good coaches. I asked what everyone's definition of this outcoached is because I think it's just now like a happy trigger word to be able to throw out.
When you lose, you got outcoached.
When you lose,
right?
I think they also got outplayed, which is the difficult part to talk about.
They do, but I will say, no, they're two very good coaches. And I thought, Flores had a really good game plan. And what we said at the top of the show, like those defensive backs, once they knew that sticky coverage wasn't going to get called more often than not, they stuck with it and they manhandled the Packers receivers. And the Packers receivers have to respond better. They have to win. And I will say, shout out Bo Melton, because you saw a couple of really tough drops from Jaden Reed. Bo Melton dealing with the same type of coverage. No, not an issue. Like he's got dudes draped all over him on his receptions. He makes the catch, gets up off the ground, gets back to the huddle. I mean,
ready to roll.
He was really good in this game in very limited opportunities.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And they're going to have to be able to take advantage of more of those opportunities. I think they do. And I think they just lock up Caleb Williams, sack him a bunch of times. I got 27-9 coming up on Sunday.
I have Packers 47, Bears -3.
Let's go! Packers by 50. That's what I'm talking about. Aaron, I appreciate it, man. Happy New Year to you. You're in the epicenter for it, so I want you to be bracket down the hatches. Make sure you're all safe here tonight for the New Year celebration.
Oh, I'm very much chilling out tonight, not doing crazy stuff. I'm going to keep it safe. Got to get ready for Bears week. Appreciate you, Billy.
Let's do it. We'll do it again next week. It's Ben, Carry the G Radio on the game.
Suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck.